This thing is absolutely amazing. When I wanted to upgrade my sound setup from my Universal Audio Volt 1, I tried various things, including the Fifine SC3 mixer, which had a horrible echo in the mic monitoring, watch my review, and the Go XLR Mini, which was fine, but the headphone jack was in the front, which is a big thing for me. And much like the SC3, it has the membrane buttons for silent pushing. I just don't like those. They just feel cheap. I'm picky, whatever. I then tried an M Audio gaming mixer as well as several other regular audio interfaces, but couldn't find what I wanted, which was full control over volumes, all connections in the back, and controls that didn't feel cheap. I'd be using this as a sound card for podcasting and recording music. Let me introduce you to the Roland Bridgecast. Now, if you haven't heard of Roland, they are a trusted brand in the music industry, making everything from guitar amps, mics, synthesizers, and much more. So when it comes to sound, I trust the brand. This gives me full control over my mic, including compression and EQ, and even de-esser, which gets rid of the heavy S's, which is off right now. I can control my headphone volume, mic monitoring, PC volume, and speaker volume all independently, all of which have streaming mixing options for all of those at your fingertips. No bushy buttons. It's all knobs. Well, okay, it has buttons. The audio quality from the PC is superb, as is the mic monitoring. In the back, you have the 5-volt USB for power, a USB-C for PC, and a console/mobile to PC selector. I did not try this on console. Next is line out for your speakers, auxiliary for phone or tablet, and full XLR for mic and headphone/headset jack. On the front, we have mic effects 1 through 5, which I will demo in a second, pitch informant, and an EQ for overall sound, which I thought was a nice touch. However, if you have a good pair of headphones, just turn it off. 4 control knobs with levels and LEDs that you can assign pretty much anything, and also change the color. 3 mute buttons, and the gain button can be assigned to a sound like a beep. Stream volume and line out volume, and a button to link the volumes together. Headphone volume, and personal/stream mix selector. So everything at your fingertips for sound and streaming. Now let's go to the software, because this is where it gets really interesting. All right, here we have the software for the Roland Bridgecast. And as you can see here, here's your input, and you have your mic monitoring, and then this is your streaming. And you have this little button down here. You can change these. So if you just want to control your mic volume with the knob, you can go up and down with it like that. See, I'm moving the knob. Well, you can't see, but trust me, I'm moving it. And then you click over to here, and this controls your mic monitoring. So, and you can also link these two. So as it links, you can move all of these up. See? So that way you have total control over your mic, your stream, and your mic monitoring all at the same time. Same thing with these. This controls your system. This is what I've got set up for system is on channel 2. So I can move the knob, and it controls the actual volume of the stream as well. So all of these have the same thing. So you can independently control the volume of what you're outputting in your stream, and then the stream volume of that. And you can also mute different things. Like you can have music that you're listening to that is not going to be on your stream, and vice versa. Sound effects, music, and auxiliary, I did not. We'll get into that in a second. But down here you have personal, which is the overall output. And then of course stream, and then line out, which would be like your speakers, which I unplugged for some reason, and then your headphone. So this even has an independent headphone volume that, as you notice, when you move it, it doesn't control anything else. They've thought of everything, absolutely everything. This is exactly what I was looking for. Total control over all volumes right at my fingertips. I don't have to stop something. I don't have to go in the software. I don't even have to go in this software. It's all right here. if I have it set up the way I want it, I just use the knobs. It's brilliant. Roland really knows what they're doing. Okay, and then here, this is your mic setup. And then I'm using the Fifine K699D. Watch my review. Don't read it. There's no words. Just watch it. And you set it up for dynamic, obviously. And then you have your gain. So you can bring it up. And then you're going to, yeah, you don't want to do that. So I leave it at default. And then this kind of tells you where you're at. Mic cleanup, you have low cut, which I turned off. Noise suppression, which I also turned off. And that's if you're playing a game and you've got people around you, it kind of, obviously suppresses the noise. And you can tell it what, level you're at. It does have a de-esser, and I suggest using these for USB mics because they tend to have a lot of to them. And then you have an EQ. So you can have an EQ here, and if you scroll down, here's all your stuff. You can turn on the detail, and you even get even more ways to do this. Now I've got this set specifically for mine, but if you start moving around, you'd start sounding a little like this, or if you bring it down. So you have control over what you sound like. So I leave it a little bit flat. I tend to think my voice is a little nasally, so I'll leave it at that. But if you turn it off, obviously it's flat. So we'll leave it at flat for right now. And then compressor, turn the compressor on. And you have threshold. You can bring that way down. Ratio. The compressor on this, from software that I am used to using, this is not stellar. You could probably play with it a lot and get, what you want. But I tend to turn it off. And that may be, you may want to set that. Everybody's setup is a little bit different, so it's something to play around with. But anyway, mic effects, which I told you I would demonstrate, like reverb. Is anybody in here? And then maximum reverb. Is anybody in here? Stellar.
And then you got high voice. I'm high. Okay.
And then you got fat voice, I guess, which gives it, a little more. I think that's not nice. Call it fat, but you get the point.
And then super low. This is what I like to use when I play Diablo. And I only use this when I say Diablo.
So I go, hey, is this your first time playing
Diablo?
See what you can do there? So obviously you have write, reset, save file, load file. You can actually have your own, you can have, save files and stuff for different presets of voices and whatnot. And then you also have a pitch, which this is, why is this turned? Let's see. This should be zeroed out. There we go. So if you change this, notice it doesn't do anything. Because you have to have effect on. And this is what I didn't necessarily like. Okay, so if you turn reverb, maybe I just fixed it. So in order to use this, you have to have mic effects on. But you have to have a mic effect. So it kind of negates changing this. But I think I just figured it out. So this is reverb. And you can control the reverb. Check this out. I'm Timmy, I'm in a well. Okay, so if you turn that off, but then you can control on the Bridgecast your pitch. So you can even go up on this, and then you're really high. So see, it's a little bit different than high voice. So then you can go a little bit lower. So it doesn't actually, it just kind of makes it a little bit robotic. You can change it. It's just meant to change a little bit. And then the format, it's...
If you change this is because, this kind of thins it out, man. And then you
go back to
this, and this is so really...
So then you can get different variants. It's like, oh man, I don't feel so good.
Oh man, I really don't feel good. Oh man.
So there you go. That's my demonstration. Since I'm basically a 12-year-old. This also has a button on. As you can see, it's going on and off independently. So you can set up what voice you want to use, and then you can even
Set this to something like this, just to be weird. Turn this on, turn this down, and then you're gonna get a button, and you turn.
off the button, right? So then when you turn this on, it is your preset for voice change.
So whatever you got going on here, this is it.
And then turn it off and you're good. So it's fun. Just remember that if you do have the pitch set all the way up and then you look at your dial, the dial does not change automatically. See, when I move the dial, it goes back to 0. So something to consider. Something they don't really mention in the manual that I saw. Okay. So I'm going to turn this off so I can do voice change stuff later. The mode is avatar and sing. I couldn't really tell the difference between these. I meant to look in the manual to find. I'm assuming that this is like for if you're singing, obviously using this to output some good voiceage, that you can change this on the fly a little bit. So if you just can't hit that note, I guess you can just push a button and you're hitting that note anyway. And then game, this actually has EQs for your game, when you're playing a game, and it has different volume setups. I'm personally do not like these, just because if you've got a good set of headphones that are balanced, and they sound good, then you shouldn't have to mess with any of this. But on the flip side, if you got some headphones that are not stellar, or maybe say not great for gaming but great for music, you can go in here and kind of play with it a little bit. It does have presets, as you can see. These are not terribly different. And of course you have a button on right here. Boom. Again, everything is on the front of the Bridgecast. I love this thing. Okay, and then you go to chat. Chat, you can, again, here's a compressor and a de-esser. There's no D-chip chewing, so you're just going to have to mute, and please do. Nobody likes that. Output, you have a delay for your output. And then USB out mode. This is where if you've got it plugged into a console, I'm not exactly sure how this works. I don't currently have a console in here, and I'm not borrowing my wife's. So that would just not go very well for me. But the line out mode, of course, you have different things here that you can set up for whatever that line out cable is going. Channel. This is where you can set up your independent channels. 1, 2, 3, 4, obviously. So I put the mic on channel 1, and then you can even set the color to the little ring. And then this I have system, and then 3 I've got chat, and then 4 I've got game. And then game, of course I can hit beep if I say something really terrible. And you have dance kick and you have whoosh. I use beep. Like this one is dance kick. It's silly. And then this one is whoosh. I don't know what that's for. I'm going to use beep because I might need that for our next podcast. And then profile, obviously you can change. These are presets. These are not controllable on the front. And I didn't play with these much because once I got everything set up, I didn't really want to hit one of these and change everything. But they do have profiles, and you can create your own. So if you got something you like and you want to use one for streaming and one for just gaming, this is it right here. Yeah, I'm not seeing a profile button on there. You're going to have to go in there and set it up. Anyway, on system, LED brightness, it's right there. The indicator type. Now this is the ring around your knobs that control your volume. So I've got it set at level, but if I put it on meter, it actually shows me how much gain I've got on my mic. So when I'm not talking, it goes black. And the same thing on everything. So you can change that. You can even have that. That is, I kind of wish it was independent, because I would love to have that on mic and then everything else but I'm not throwing it there. Okay, phone gains, you have boost 1, boost 2. Again, if you have a good set of headphones you don't need this. But if you've got some, say, Beyerdynamic 990s, which need some power, or even the 770 Pros need a little more power, you may have to hit boost on that. I have plenty of volume on this. Like even now, the system volume is at like 40% and the headphone is at maybe 60%. So I've got a lot of headroom there for my various headphones. So I don't think there's really a need for that, to be honest. And then this is coming soon. And I'm guessing this is going to be like different effects and stuff for the LEDs that will coincide with what you're doing. I guess. I don't know. All right. Well, that's it. That's the software for the Bridgecast. This thing is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. I recommend this for anybody that wants full control over their volumes for gaming, chatting, microphone. If you do a podcast and you want an upgrade where you want to control everything on the fly, this is also good for that. Obviously, streaming, you pretty much have everything you need for audio streaming right here in front of you. Everything you need. And as you can tell, I'm talking through this and recorded all the audio with this so far. So as far as a review of this thing, I absolutely love it. I think it's stellar. I think even if it did have some minor flaws, such as having like the headphone jack in the front, which I absolutely hate, I would probably still give it a good review. This one was this is retails for $299.99. I should have probably started with that. So it's $300. This I got at Amazon. It was an open box for $190. So I did save some money, and it came like wrapped in a bag, like a paper bag. Like I didn't know if this thing was even going to work, but lo and behold, it works like a champ. And that's usually what you get from Roland. I've had multiple Roland products in the past: amps, pedals, synthesizers. I can't even imagine. I can't even list all the stuff I've had from Roland. I don't ever remember having an issue with any of it as far as it breaking or malfunctioning or not working out of the box. They just make stellar stuff. I'm super excited to see them in the PC market making stuff like this. So that's it. If you like the review, give me a like, give me a subscribe, hit that notification if you want to as well. And I've got some more stuff coming up. But until then, have a good day.